Hi, Julia. We're here on One Tree Island on day 5 of our expedition. Would you like to tell us what we did today?
Today we split into 3 groups. The one group went back to the other side of the island, to Turtle Bay, and was exploring if they could find good sites for our dosing experiment. In that experiment we want to bring the water chemistry back to pre-industrial levels and see if corals really grew better at that time. The second group picked up on what we did yesterday, going out with the boat on the lagoon and doing this profiling of temperature and water chemistry to see if the lagoon is stratified or not. They did that during high tide. And then the third group went out with the boat during low tides, repeated this profiling, but also was seeing if we can find actually better spots on the other side of the lagoon where we could perform our dosing experiments.
So there are investigations at really 2 spatial scales. One is at the scale of what, some tens of meters or 10 meters, and another one that's more at lagoon scale. Right? It's not a question, but okay. So what did you do this afternoon?
So I went out on the boat during the low tide, doing this profiling of temperature and water chemistry. But we also had a look at the border between the 2 lagoons. So this One Tree Reef really consists of one main lagoon and a second one, and then a third small one to the west. And between when there's low tide, the water level in the lagoon is higher than out in the open ocean.
How is that possible?
Because the algae flat around the lagoon comes out when the tide drops. And it takes the water a time to get through this high crust of algae and corals. And for this reason, for several hours during low tide, the water level is still higher in the lagoon than outside in the ocean. And it's also, the water level is higher in the main lagoon as compared to the second lagoon. And we think that we can take an advantage out of this occurrence because for several hours the water is flowing from the main lagoon to the second lagoon over this algae flat, and the coral cover out there is actually pretty nice. We had a look at it yesterday and today, and we took samples at the inner side of the algae flat towards the main lagoon, and then also a few meters further down towards the second lagoon, so along the flow of the water. And because the water level is pretty flat there, really just a few centimeters deep, the chemistry can probably be changed quite substantially by the coral activity in between.
And so Jack, I believe, is in the lab right now measuring samples, and when he gets to these samples, we'll see whether this ecosystem affected the chemistry of the water as it flowed over the algal flat.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see these results.
So thank you very much. I think that's enough for today's video diary from One Tree Island.